Welcome back, everybody. Former Governor Pat McCrory was just in his first term as mayor of Charlotte when he first met Billy Graham. The evangelist was hosting one of his last crusades in the Carolinas, and the young mayor had to introduce the famed evangelist in front of thousands of people. Since that time, Governor McCrory, like many political leaders, called on Billy Graham for spiritual guidance. A little earlier today, I talked with Governor McCrory about his memories of Billy Graham. Here's our conversation. All right, Governor, welcome back. Good to see you. I know not under the best of circumstances here. I want to talk to you about some of your interactions with Billy Graham, specifically in a moment. But first, he has such a bigger-than-life image about him almost. What was it like to be in the room with him one-on-one?
It was, you felt like you were closer to God, but when you said that, he would laugh. He literally reached out to people at their lowest time, not at their highest time, which I appreciated very much during some of the rough days I had as governor. He brought a calmness, and I'll never forget it, and I'll always appreciate it.
Governor, I've interviewed you and known you for years now. I can see how he impacted you in your eyes and the way you're speaking today.
Yeah, it's quite emotional for me, and I'm surprised because we've been expecting this for a while, and but it's still emotional. No doubt about it. I apologize.
No, please don't apologize, Governor. Several hundred people have been lining up as early as 5:30 this morning to pay their respects. We've been talking to them. As you mentioned, the president and the body of Reverend Graham are expected to arrive here at our nation's capital in mere moments. They were scheduled to arrive sometime around 10:30 this morning. You can see the platform there of photographers and national press waiting for the casket to arrive. It made me think, we're standing here where the folks are in line waiting to view Billy Graham at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and there's people we've met that are from Seattle. They just flew in this morning from Seattle, others from Michigan and all around the world, yet it feels like a reunion because there's one thing that ties them together as they tell their stories about Billy Graham, and he is that tie that bonds everyone together. We talked to another woman that said her family didn't go to church, and she learned about Jesus Christ by watching Billy Graham on television, and that's how she began her life through faith at 6 years old. And so complete strangers telling stories about crusades from decades ago, and that's a little bit what we saw in the U.S. Capitol today. President Trump reminiscing about his dad. It's just, you have to be here. I'm sure you sense it there as well, but it's remarkable the sense of kinship and togetherness that is feeling in our nation's capital right now. You are looking live at the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Capitol Tonight. I am Tim Boyum. This is live inside the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol, where the nation continues to remember North Carolina's favorite son, the Reverend Billy Graham. It is such an honor for him and for North Carolina. He is only the fourth private citizen to have this honor, the last being Rosa Parks back in 2005. What a day, an emotional day in our nation's capital as people from all over this country came to remember Billy Graham. We met people today from Seattle, Michigan, all over different parts of our country, but they all had one thing in common. That was a personal Billy Graham story about how he changed their life. Hours before Billy Graham's body arrived in the U.S. Capitol,
we got up extremely early, but it was all for Billy.
Ed and Doris Siegel lined up to catch a glimpse of the hearse. They are 93 years young, 60 years married.
He was a part of both of our childhoods because he was coming into his own in the ministry when we were young and growing up.
On the other side of the Capitol, hundreds lined up as Billy Graham's body arrived.
I am without
Inside the Capitol, music, prayer, and a president.
From a large tent in Los Angeles to 100,000 people in a single day at Yankee Stadium to more than 2 million people at Madison Square Garden. And I remember that because my father said to me, "Come on, son, let's go see Billy Graham at Yankee Stadium." and it was something very special.
North Carolina's delegation led Congress into the Capitol Rotunda.
It was a powerful service. My first impression is I didn't feel worthy to be out there because of this great man, Billy Graham. If you were to combine everybody in the room, senators, president, members of Congress, nobody has come close to reaching or impacting the lives that the great Billy Graham has.
Outside the Capitol, people from all over the country, each with their own story about Reverend Graham, waited patiently to pay their respects.
I attended about 3 of his crusades during my lifetime, but it was a promise that I made to my mom before she passed away that I would attend his funeral if possible.
You know, it's just captivating to watch these folks who were standing in line, some of them as early as 5:30 in the morning when that hearse pulled up to watch them.
Yeah, Tim, I know you're well traveled these last few days. You were just in Washington, D.C. With regard to Billy Graham lying in honor in the Capitol Rotunda.
Yeah, it has been a remarkable several days and really a week and a half since Billy Graham died. We are under the tent, and this is not meant to just save us from rain or wind today. This is symbolic for that 1949 Los Angeles crusade that went on for 8 weeks and launched him into national stardom. And stardom is really what we're seeing here today. Big names here. What I can tell you the most is, you know, funerals are often very sad. You see lots of tears. This was different. There's a lot of celebration, hugs, laughs, and smiles. In a lot of ways, that's exactly what Billy Graham would want. Breaking news, you are looking live down Bicentennial Plaza in downtown Raleigh from the state legislature, where thousands of teachers have arrived at the legislature. They started at the North Carolina Association of Educators around 10 o'clock this morning. About 20 minutes later, we started seeing them come down the plaza here, and they are here and they are loud. They are chanting Red for Ed. They are here to ask lawmakers for more funding for schools, for textbooks, for higher teacher pay across the state as well. We have reporters all over Raleigh as well, covering this huge story in downtown Raleigh today. We're going to have a live interview with a state representative here in just a few moments as well, and we'll be covering what is going on here all day long as well. They're trying to get into the building, some of them, and then they're going to have the rally at 3:30 this afternoon. There is some chances of rain. We'll be following that. And with that, let's go to your Weather on the Ones forecast.
And we're going to stay with that Spectrum News for continuing coverage. Back to you, Tim.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. You can still see the thousands of people out here despite the weather. They plan to stay here for that 3:30 rally. The legislature starts at noon. We'll have more on that in a moment. But there are tons of signs out here. And just a short while ago, one got my attention, and I had to bring it up here. Let's show the sign. I am a Michigan teacher that drove 814 miles. I support North Carolina teachers. All right, let's, who are you first of all? Where are you from in Michigan?
My name is Deneen Edson, and I am from Rockford, Michigan, which is just north of Grand Rapids.
Well, welcome to North Carolina. What possesses you to get in a car and drive 814 miles for this rally here in North Carolina?
This rally is so important for education. North Carolina's funding is so low that the teachers are really struggling. And being a union member in the northern states, I really can see the discrepancies.
Real one, thank you very much. As we mentioned to Sea of Red, the teachers are making their way here. We can show you they're walking down the mall here, Bicentennial Plaza. The Capitol is that way. They're headed into the legislative building. There is only so many people that are allowed in that building, and there are new security measures, so it's going to be fascinating over the next hour and a half to see what happens. And we have our Lenny Supal inside, checking out what's going on inside there. Hey, Lenny. Hey everybody, great to see you. I am Tim Boyum. Welcome to a special edition of Capitol Tonight. We're coming to you tonight from Madison, North Carolina. This is sort of the hometown area for Senate Leader Phil Berger. He's actually from Eden up the road, but he has a law firm here in Madison. And tonight, we're going to get to know more about the Senate Leader, what makes him tick, and of course a little later we'll talk about some of the big issues facing North Carolina, including his relationship with Governor Roy Cooper. But we start here in Madison and get to know a little bit more about Senate Leader Phil Berger. I know you flirted with the U.S. Senate, or at least people made it seem like you wanted to maybe flirt with it. Do you ever think you might want to do that, as in like someday?
I've had people talk to me about, are you interested in this? Are you interested in that? I haven't ruled out running for some other office, but at this point, the thing I'm concentrating on is being the best North Carolina senator, the best president pro tem that I can be.